Financial inclusion, voices from the disability community. What are your financial goals?
At this point, I want to, start decreasing my debt a little more because I am making plans to getting a home and being a first-time home buyer.
I do have financial goals. Given my age, I know that it's important for me to have some retirement, if you will. That's always been a focus.
Well, the things that really matter to me are things like having enough money so that once a year I can go home and see my parents who are aging.
Yes, short term I want to fix my credit so I can actually have a couple of credit cards and not have to be so dependent on paycheck to paycheck.
But I want to get all patio and have a privacy fence up so I can get a little dog or whatnot.
What's getting in your way?
I seem to have holes in my pockets and it's just leaking money.
You could only have a certain amount of money in a bank, depending on if you have SSI or SSDI. You actually have to manage your money a certain amount that can last you the whole month.
About 13 years ago, I had a psychiatric crisis and I was disabled for over a year. I wasn't able to work and I had to undergo a lot of treatment, credit card bills, medical bills that just piled up during that period of time. When I started working, I actually had to use payday loans because I just couldn't really make ends meet.
My understanding of money and security was a $750 check. And when I was growing up, I saw so much disparity in older adults with disabilities. I even remember asking my foster parent at the time, am I going to be homeless when I grow up? Because I didn't see anybody with a disability that had a job, and I saw the majority of homeless people had disabilities like me. So the only parallel that I could draw in my 12-year-old head was, hey, this is my future, this is my life.
Are there accessibility barriers?
Many times where I'll call the bank and we use the video relay services to get a hold of the bank, and they say it's not, I need to talk directly to Cameron. And I explain, no, it's me, I'm deaf, and I've been using it for a long time. I'm not new to this, I'm deaf, this is my name, and I give that information, and over and over again they'll turn me down, and it's very frustrating. And they tell me to use the TTY machine, and that's just old technology that hasn't been used in a long time, and they just seem to be hesitant to use VRS, and it's very frustrating, I can say.
Sometimes the earphone port isn't working, so if I were to be able to use the ATM, it makes it hard to use that, and also it's very wordy. Instead of just saying, press enter, it'll say, here's how you do this, and if you want to press enter, this is what it will take you to. I don't need to know all that. I just need to know I need to press enter and where the button is.
Do I perceive that I've been treated differently because of my disability? Is it because I'm a female that I might be getting bamboozled, if you will? Is it because I'm a person of color? Or is it because of my disability? Or is it because of all three?
Do you use financial technology?
Most people have access to smartphones, but I think the problem is they're on these limited data plans and that they don't have the bandwidth or the data to be able to access full services. And I think they may not be completely accessible to everybody.
Most of the time it's the apps because it's easier to take pictures of like checks than just going into a store or going into the banks.
I have it, but I don't typically use it. It makes me a little bit nervous. I'm wondering, is it secure? I'm a tech guru, I love technology. But when it comes to my money, I typically want to shy away from using the technology. I'm kind of an old-fashioned guy. I would rather drive to the bank and make that deposit.
No, I'm not using those tools. I'm very aware of those tools, but if you're not really tech savvy, they're not very helpful. I mean, they're confusing.
Yeah, I worry about the safety of my money. I heard on the news about people driving down the street, giving people information. I'm like, oh Lord.
Has anyone talked to you about financial health?
No. Physical health, yeah, mental health, spiritual health, but financial health, no. Some of my friends, they're careful with their spending and people will talk about it, but there's no actual advice yet.
I have been in various training programs for individuals who are blind. They've brought in individuals who can just talk to you and tell you about, just opening a checking account or a savings account, but nothing in depth that talks about anything beyond that and how it's important to budget.
I've never received counseling from a banking institution, if you will, or a financial planner, but I received that sort of those nuggets of information from my family. Talk about debt and what it does to you, and not to be a slave to credit cards and things like that. So I would say that I learned most of my financial savviness from my family.
My financial health, I've learned on my own, and they've been really hard lessons. Because there's so much more than just paying bills. There's so much more than just buying food or paying rent. You could be saving. You could be having a percentage of your money go into a special account. And nobody tells you these things.
What do you want from your bank?
When I go to the bank that's closest to my job, I feel welcomed.
Because usually I go to the branch over where my mother lived. They usually take time with me, what have you, and they really talk to me. Where other branches, they might go like, oh no, I don't have time.
What you want from your bank is you want accountability, and you want good communication. If I had my dream, I would have this personal banker, this virtual banker, that anything that comes up in my life regarding my banking services, I could tap into that individual and get all of my needs addressed.
That personal connection and interaction. Not feeling like the relationship is skin deep, but it needs to be more of an interaction with the financial institution.
They need to be more proactive in hiring people with disabilities, because I think that if you hire somebody that looks like me, I'm going to go into your bank more and I'm going to say I want to do business with you because you value who I am.
Being able to see the human behind the disability can actually help humanize and understand that, yes, it is true that many people have barriers and that there are barriers to participate in financial services, but that in the end, there are very basic things that matter to people with disabilities that are in many ways no different whatsoever.
This video is brought to you by National Disability Institute and is dedicated to the financial inclusion of people with disabilities. To learn more about National Disability Institute and its mission, visit www.realeconomicimpact.org.